Hello, greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Soul Connections Conversations. I am Teresa Echaide, your host and creator of this series. This is a gathering space where we share our spiritual journeys and our soul's connections, purpose, and gifts. We are weaving a spiritual community here. On my spiritual journey, I have met so many wonderful soul sisters and brothers that are soul connections. Wonderful souls that have helped me, guided me, and taught me, and above all, connected at a deep soul level. I am honored, happy, and excited to bring them into this circle to share their stories with us. And today I'm really excited about my soul sister, Rosalba Fontanez. Hello, Rosalba.
Hello, Teresa.
Welcome. Thank you for being here. And let me tell you about Rosalba. She's a shamanic energy practitioner, facilitator, teacher, womb keeper, and Munai key initiator. She's trained for 20 years in various energetic disciplines, including hypnotherapy, crystal therapy, Reiki, and more. Her passion and focus lies with ancestral Andean teachings. Recognizing that ancestral medicine of the Andes has produced profound results on her clients, Rosalba is deeply grateful to all the Andean medicine men and women whose traditions taught her to be in harmony through love, service, and wisdom. It is with this wisdom that she assists people in releasing trauma and blockages from their energetic bodies and at the root source so they can restore their personal power, achieve new levels of awareness, and attain greater states of health and well being. Thank you, Rosalba. This is so
You're
wonderful.
very welcome.
So excited to hear about everything that you have to share because oh my gosh, we have so much in common about the medicine
Yes,
path that we both do. So
absolutely.
just to start off, I mean, tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, your growing up, your background, if there's any like significant stories that you have that contributed to your interest in the spirit world.
Absolutely. So I was born and raised in Mexico, in Guadalajara, Jalisco. And so as a child, small child, I used to love to watch Bewitched, I Dream of Jeannie. I was in love and love and love with Dr. Kildare. For those of us who are very old, or very mature, you may remember Dr. Kildare. So there you go. Healing, medicine, and magic. Ta-da! And I'm talking about when I was about 4 years old. When I I knew I wanted to be an agent to bring inner peace and healing to the world. But as a little child, I didn't know how. However, I knew that when I was sick and my mother would take me to the doctors, they would give me an injection, antibiotics, right? And then that made me feel really good. The pinch hurt, but then the medicine made me feel really good. So in pre-kinder, in a Catholic school, I was caught in the back of the room, laying down on the lap of my classmates with my panties down. But what I was doing, I was teaching them how to heal by giving an injection with a clicky pen. This is how you do it, guys. So I knew I was onto something. I almost got kicked out, but I didn't. I finished the year. So growing up, my mother died when I was very young. And after that, my father took it really hard. So he became an alcoholic, a really, really hard alcoholic. And because his body was so weak, there were many entities coming into his uh, field, uh, taking possession of him. And there were really bad demonic ones, and the really angelic and good ones that taught me how to get rid of those entities and how to fend for myself with light, with energy. Okay, and this was going on when I was about between 8 and 11 years old. So I knew about the the thing about energy and light and healing a little bit, not a whole lot. And I didn't know how to explain this or to whom I was a child or to whom to share this with. So at school, I will tell my classmates and my teachers, oh, I talked to angels, I talked to entities, and then they send me to have my head examined. They sent me to the psychiatrist. So they couldn't find anything, but I had this knowledge that, the beings from the other realm have taught me when they were present in my father's field. So I grew up knowing about something beyond, something invisible, and then I put it away. But I always knew that I was had put in this world to do great work with for people. And because I was growing up Catholic, I thought, the only mindset I had then was, well, I want to become a nun and do my service to the world, uh, to the Lord. And so then when I wanted to really go into a convent around 13, I found out that nuns can't really have intimacy with boys. So that was a no-no for me because I wanted to explore that, right? As any teenager. And then when they sent me to the psychiatrist, I was in therapy, and the psychologist or the therapist really got me. And so I wanted to be like him to help others like me that nobody would comprehend our deal. But that person, the therapist, really helped me. So I wanted to become a psychologist. So then I kept growing up, came to the US at 17, got married, had my children, and I forgot about my being a helper to the world. And then my sister and my daughter were clinically depressed. Now, my daughter was away in college, and my sister was here. And I did not know, and this was about 1998 or so, I did not know anything about mental health, other than my mother had committed suicide due to deep depression, clinical depression, and never, back in those days in Mexico, well, you didn't talk about these things, and the help wasn't available, I guess. But when my sister, who didn't speak English at the time, we couldn't find help. We didn't know what was wrong with her, and we couldn't get any kind of help in Spanish. So I said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to help all those people who don't speak the language, who don't know anything about uh, depression or anything, and then I'm going to help them. Then my daughter, right after that, my daughter also was away in college, clinically depressed. She left college to come back home and get better. And now both of them are doing excellent. And so that's when I really started getting into, I need to be of help to the world, but I just didn't know how. I just kept gathering information of why this happens to people. Well, then what really put me on the map or on the road to train to heal myself first, and then train as a person who can help others heal their past was 9/11. After 9/11, a few days after, I wrote a whole lot of stuff that I read it now and I say to myself, I wrote this, but I thought that if I had been spared, I was supposed to have been at the towers that morning. My husband and I were visiting New York, and we were coming home. Before coming to the airport, we were going to do our last stop at the towers because he's the big financial mindset, and he wanted to show me where the Trade World Center was and all of that. And we didn't go. For some weird reason, we didn't get up early enough to make it on time before the airport. And that's when it happened. And so, 9/11. So when we came back home a few days later, because everything shut down, we couldn't come back home. I was really reflecting on, if I had been spared, then there was a bigger purpose. for me to be here, not just being a mom, a wife, a sister, an auntie, none of that. I had to, I had something great to do. And my mother, I always recognized that my mother had been my biggest mentor, um, paving the way for me to walk that route or do that journey. I don't know, something of that sense. I still can't express what I sense, what I feel. Um, so that's how I started. And at the same time that my daughter was in college, I was going through what it's called the empty nest syndrome. And it felt, part of me was dying because now I was free to do something else. I felt that I was getting into something else, but I did not know. I wasn't in the spiritual journey yet. But I felt that I was dying inside. And I asked God, God, if this is the way I'm going to be living the rest of my life, I don't want to live. This is horrible. Little did I know that, my prayers were going to be answered and I was going to get clarity and all of that. And so one time, at that time, I was working as a dental assistant. And I was the first one at my office. And I was crying and really, going through that death, symbolic death. And so I opened the office and I was the only one there. I go and look up at the newspaper and I open up in this page that says hypnotherapy, help humankind to feel better, to change their lives. And I heard a voice that said, call now. I felt a hand in my back pushing me towards the phone. Call now. And that's the beginning. So after that, I went into not only I could never become a psychologist, but I did become a hypnotherapist. And then after that, I was trained in many modalities, energetic modalities, until, it was something like, okay, what is this? What do I want to do? How do I do this? Or, searching until I came across who is now my mentor and teacher, and she is the owner of the School for the Shamanic Arts. And so there were two women in at this function, this event, and I didn't know what shamanism or a shaman was. Never, never, never have gone into that kind of uh, stuff. And so something told me to go up to them and ask them, are you a shaman? And I go, oh my God, what did I say that? What is that? And so that was the beginning of the Andean tradition. She has a school for the shamanic arts, mainly the Andean tradition. And so I've studied there. I've been there for, probably since 2009. So that's when it
Wow.
all started, the shamanic path, the Andean tradition, that is.
Yeah. Oh, how wonderful. Let's just take a pause here. Like, oh my gosh. Thank you for sharing your journey. And we have so much parallel, and that's why we're soul sisters,
Yes,
like
yes.
I've also lost my mom when I was in my teen years, and she was from Mexico, close to where you're from. And same thing here. I didn't have any tools to grieve or anything like that. And it was only the Catholic way, what I was told to do, and that didn't feel right with me. And also, but fast forward, going back to Mexico, to her land, and the indigenous ways of doing, the Day of the Dead, that really helped me grieve her in her own country. And that was like a beautiful celebration of that so many years later. And
How
also,
wonderful.
yeah, and I also agree with you, like, uh my dad, of course, we all took it hard because it was a shock, and he was left with three teenage daughters, and just kind of not having the tools or even be able to talk to anyone, like you said. And just, like keeping things inside or lashing out always the wrong way. So it's so exciting to hear you talk how you all these experiences that we've been through like made you stronger because you wanted to change things. You wanted to change that pattern within your family. You wanted to do the healing, and like they say, our teachers say, we're the ones chosen ones to do the healing, and we heal the past and the
That's
future.
right.
So thank you for doing that work and sharing it. And yeah, and you've had a wonderful trajectory, and also like that awakening of 9/11 that was impactful.
It was.
uh yeah, and but yeah, okay, now I'm gonna let you go into like into the shamanic practitioner that you are of the Andean tradition. Yeah, let's hear about it, because we also have that in common, and we can like share more things about that. Please, like, share with the audience, how was that awakening and training with the
Well,
shamanic path.
like I said, I trained in several modalities, and all of them, as healers, you know that, or as channels for healing, you know that we have to heal all of our shadow, all of our wounds first before we can go out there and do our fine work. And so everything that that I trained in, that I studied before the Andean tradition, it was just scratching the surface, including hypnotherapy. It helped, it went very deep. But compared to the ancestral traditions, it was just like scratching the surface of everything. So it did a bit of healing with all those modalities. But oh my goodness, when I went into the school for the shamanic arts, there were times when I would come home, go under my bed, and not come out. Those all those wounds from this lifetime and previous lifetimes were just so raw, and we had to heal them, but they were so painful. It was so painful. You know, Healing is not glamorous. Healing is not like sitting in a drinking ayahuasca and having hallucinations and all of that. No, healing takes you, it's a pachacuti, it's a turning over of your life as you know it, and go really deep and heal all of that has prevented you from shining, from becoming a conduct of love, of peace, of transformation for yourself and others. Of course, you know all of this. And so Andean shamanism, or the Andean tradition, was the one that really took me into it, broke my heart open so that I can mend it. And so it is the path of Munai, of unconditional love. And it's all done with unconditional love. The way we get triggered is because we have everything, stuffed under the carpet. Our shadow self, it's been uh, repressing all that which we should have healed, but we didn't know. And everything has gone as planned. I no longer, at this stage in my life, I no longer question anything. I just know that, even if it's painful, okay, thank you. Help me and take me by the hand, because I don't know what the heck I'm going to be doing for this. And trust and surrender to the medicine, to the ancestors. And that's, to the Almighty, to Source, to Spirit, and the universe. And when we get to that place of trust and surrender, then everything becomes easier. But to get there, it's a real journey. And not to say that, I want to have everybody feel fearful of this. No, on the contrary, it's the path of love, of really, real unconditional love.
Yes, it's definitely a beautiful path. And I don't know about you, but I remember as a kid, I grew up in Spain, and Machu Picchu and visiting Peru was always a dream of mine. I even learned how to play like the Condor Pasa with my little flute. I was
Oh,
like,
wonderful.
so
Okay.
into it. And I was like, I feel like I had a past life in there. I don't know if you feel the same way, because all these this just came so naturally to me. But and then nothing really happened until I went through my like dark night of the soul, go through the divorce, the awakening, the whole thing, and then I found myself with these teachings, and it's like opened up my world. And that's how we connected, through a class with Jorge Luis Delgado, the shaman that Rosalba set up. And I think it was 2020, like on the
It was
COVID.
it was just before
20.
COVID,
Okay.
like a month before everything was shut down.
Yes, and that's how I connected with Rosalba, and I love what she's doing, what like she stands for, and we both have like similar paths. And I just want to share a little bit more of our connection. I was before we started this talk. We're both Mesa carriers. That Rosalba can talk a little bit more about these. She has hers right there. So the medicine bundle from the Andean medicine
Tradition.
path.
Yes.
Yes, and then also I was telling Rosalba how the hummingbird is my spirit animal, and she shows me her ring and earring. She's wearing hummingbirds. I'm like, oh, we're so connected, and I love these. Everybody in the audience, I would love to like. I hope you feel like a connection to what we're talking about. If you feel called to explore these pathways on your spiritual path, you're like, I hope at least kind of like it sparks your curiosity, and you can like reach out to Rosalba and I, and we're here to help others, down the path. We are all our own healers. We're just here to guide you, and make it provide resources, of our experience that we've gone through. So yes, and Rosalba, like I'll give you the floor here. If you want to go into what offerings do you do with the Andean shamanic path and everything else that you provide your services, so the audience here can who resonates with you can find you and seek your guidance.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for this platform. So, as a Mesa carrier or shamanic energetic practitioner, I offer sessions, individual sessions for people who are, having a hard time at life. The thing is that our past uh, sets a way of us living life in a certain way. But if that we're not happy with that way, then we can go inside and with energetic tools, I can help you resolve, transform, shift everything so that you can have a better chance at life. One, that is as individual healing sessions. And I can do those in person. I live in Burbank, California, and I do my sessions in the mountain. And so we can also do it over the phone, distance healing. A lot of my work is done through distance healing. As a teacher, I do workshops. I train people to become Mesa carriers, just like Teresa and I. And that's what I do as a teacher. The healing workshops sometimes are one day, some of them are 6 weeks, and they're 2 or 3 hours long each segment. And I have a lot of titles, subjects to accommodate everybody's needs. For instance, there is a workshop that is about 6 weeks old, 6 weeks, I was going to say 6 weeks old, 6 weeks long, and about 2 to 3 hours each time we meet. And that is healing the ancestral tree, going back 7 generations to heal everything that we have that has been passed down to us through our ancestry, mainly from our mothers. And so we go back and you converse with your abuelas, your grandmothers, great-grandmothers, great-great-grandmothers. I know you don't know them, but when you are in a state of to do the healing, you get that energy. You connect with their energy and you get the information and the wisdom. It's coming from somewhere. You're not making it up. And even if you were making it up, again, it's coming from somewhere. Now, um, that is about the workshops. I do many healing circles, classes, you name it. I do. I have for everybody. There are, of course, longer workshops, and there are one-day circles, and each one of my programs are for healing. As ritualistic and ceremonialist, I do the Moonai Key initiations, and I'll go into that in a little bit. And I am a womb keeper. Womb keeper is part of the Moonai Key, but this ritual by itself starts healing the stories that you carry in your womb from many, many, many long time ago. And also that has been the memories that have been passed from your female ancestors to you. The ones that, for instance, if we, let's say, if we want to mention the conquest. So how many of those conquistadores came to do whatever they wanted with our women? And so we as Mexicans, as Hispanics, as Latinas, we are carrying all of that in our womb, not only from that time, but from other lifetimes. If it hasn't been healed energetically, the wounds, the memories are there. And for men and women, because men they were born from the womb. They came out of the womb. So whenever our mother was stressed out, guess what? The baby got to feel everything, and that baby was born with all that the mother was feeling or experiencing at the energetic level. So
Can I say something here, that because this is bringing up a really important point that I also feel strongly about healing the womb part. And like you mentioned, like to me, on my spiritual awake, so I'm half Mexican. My mother was from Mexico, so it's a mix of, indigenous, European, and many other ones. My father's from Spain. It's a different race, the Basque people from the north. He's almost 100%, and I grew up in Spain. So for a while, it was really difficult on me to like the, I mean, both, like the colonizer and the colonized, and to just come to terms with that, because I know it's very hard for other people, a lot of Latino women
it was for
and
me.
Mexicans, to reject that, but it's part of who we are, and to just to the journey of me to reconcile those two truths about me, it's work. It's yeah, and like you mentioned, it's all in the womb, because that's how we were created, and through our ancestors in the last 500 years that happened, but if it wasn't from the Spanish, we would not be here.
Well, that's right. And we have, you don't know this, but my father's family, they always stayed there uh, from Spain, and they always wanted to keep the blood with the Spaniards. So, like you, I had a hard time all my life uh, coming to terms and with, should I not like the Spaniards, but my father, I am part of that. And then my mother, indigenous, hence me, uh, you know, how do I balance that? How can I, people saying, oh, the conquerors, this and that, and you have to hate them and da. And it's like, no, then I'll be hating part of my family, a part of who I am. So no, I had to do a lot of healing with shamanic work in order to come to terms with I'm okay with all of that. I healed all of that. And
Yeah.
so I have very good Spaniard friends, and there's not that chip on your shoulder about those people. It's, how can you live with hatred or resentment about something that happened, but you can still carry it. And the only thing that we can do is heal it in the way it's been held in our field, in our subconscious mind, and at the cellular level. And so the right of the womb, of course, all my work works on that, but specifically the right of the womb. And not only from the pillage, from other lifetimes as well, but from this lifetime, how about pregnancies? I mean, having labors, having babies is wonderful, but it's painful, it's traumatic. And so healing all of that. Can you imagine that if a person goes through RAPE, it's really, really tragic and horrible. And so those memories are there. So the right of the womb starts cleansing, clearing, transforming, all of that so that we don't have to live with that. And, you know, people who have had it tell me that, oh my goodness, since I got that initiation, this and this and that has happened and da 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 da. So it is wonderful. I recommend it. Whoever you know about somebody in your area who's doing the rite of the womb, I recommend that you go and have that, be in that ritual, be part of that ceremony. It's a beautiful one, and it lasts 13 months. On the first
Yeah.
day, you have the initiation, but then you have to nurture the rite for 13 moons, 13 months.
Thank you so much for bringing this. I mean, this is something I really feel passionate about because, yes, it's so much needed. Like we mentioned, we have experienced that from, our ancestors, how things happen. I also experienced miscarriages and all these woman creation and we as women and coming together here. I appreciate you so much holding these rights and women, or even men too, if you feel the call to Anita healer guidance and everything, reach out to us. It's such an important work to like heal those layers that have been just piling on and you don't know how to handle even the tools through Western medicine. They're just not there. It's just very much the biology of it. It's like, well, like the baby didn't take, so you had a miscarriage. That's it. But there's so much a spiritual level and energetic level that is held within your womb and your body. So thank you, Rosalba, for doing this. And I hope, a lot of people can resonate with and just reach out. And thank you. Continue on
You're
with
very
everything
welcome.
that you're doing.
Sure. Something very important. I'm in transition right now with my website. So I don't have a website as of now, but you can find me on Instagram or Facebook. And on Instagram, you go to my link tree, and that's where you are going to find everything I'm doing right now. It is the beginning of the year, so I've taken it easy. And just this week, I'm starting to get rolling again. So you'll be seeing a lot of events happening in my area, and I'm teaching and traveling. How does that look like? Well, I go if somebody says, "Hey, Rosalba, why don't you come to my area and teach something?" Like for instance, in Berkeley, in about 3 weeks or something like that, I'm going to be going to Berkeley and do past life regression and ancestral healing. And it's a Saturday and a Sunday with the right of the womb on Sunday. So whoever wants whoever is interested from that area, I'm going to place it now on my bio and on Instagram. And who you get in touch with to register and whatnot. So I teach Saturday and Sunday, and then I stay there additional days to do individual healings. And so that's what I've been doing for the last 6 months. And it's really, I went from doing something else to this, and I manifested that. This is what I wanted to do. So the reason I don't have a website that I'm in transition has to do energetically with that big transition that I've been uh, going through, and it's expanding. It looks beautiful, and it's bringing in more wisdom, more knowledge for not for me, but to share with the world. So Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we'll put all that information below the video so people know how to reach to you and contact you. And yeah, one more thing I wanted to ask you, how do you incorporate the hypnotherapy? That's something that I have not like explored. Can you like tell us a little bit about that?
Thank you. Thank you for asking. Okay, so every modality that I've been trained in is like a caboodle box. So what does that mean? Is that I'm not doing the healing. I am a channel from where the cosmovision, the Indian tradition, the ancestors are telling me, do this, do that, do this, do that. Intuitively, of course, I follow through. I have the training, that's right. But to say I am doing the healing would be an egotistic kind of thing. So I'm a channel and I have to make sure that I'm clear so that all the wisdom can zip through this channel. So with that in mind, I your cosmovision when I'm with a client, they my cosmovision or my entourage of guardians and teachers and whatnot, and the individuals are getting together and intuitively I following through what they are sending, the thoughts, the ideas. Do this now, this client will benefit from this. Always has to do with shamanic work, the medicine of the Andean tradition, okay? But if I have to employ hypnotherapy, intuitively, I will mix that. Let's say that I'm doing a shamanic journey. Well, a shamanic journey, both the client and I are journeying most of the time together, right? But if the client is having a hard time, let's say, I will use guided imagery, I will use hypnosis, so that is integrating everything. Because in order to heal, and this is what in my training, my what I do, my craft has told me. So as in hypnosis, every experience you've ever had, okay, whether it was from 40,000 years ago or last year, everything has left an imprint, a knowing in your subconscious mind, a memory in your subconscious, so you don't remember it, okay? So that takes care of the hypnotherapy. As a shamanic energetic practitioner, we know that every experience we've ever had has left an energetic imprint in your luminous field. Whether it happened 40,000 years ago, 400 years ago, last year, yesterday, has left an imprint. And those imprints might get stuffed in your chakras, and is your chakras that are sharing the information with all the systems in your body, especially the nervous system. And so this is why we don't know. I don't know why this happens to me. Right about August, every year I tend to go through that. So let's go back to what happened the very first time that happened. And sure enough, it was probably around that time of the year when 1,000 years ago you had a wound or you had an experience that wounded you and it never got clear. So you came and went lifetime after lifetime, carrying that in your soul. So my work as a shamanic practitioner, I'm going to use the tools and the wisdom to shift that energetic imprint, clear it out of your field so that it's not informing you anymore, at the same time that I'm doing it at the subconscious level, at your biology level, at the cellular level. So it's not just one level that we are um, including in this healing process. So I'm always working alongside the client and explaining what is taking place. And it's really subtle. It's really beautiful, and it's so deep though that it takes one of our teachers says, with this work, you can shift, heal, and release in a few weeks with a few sessions what you haven't been able to do in 10 years of psychotherapy. So this
Wonderful. Yes.
work works deeply.
Yes.
Not that everything, psychotherapy helps, yes, but this is going deeper energetically at the root cause of what caused the client or the individual to derail from, his highest destiny.
Yes, definitely. This is at the spirit level, at the energetic level, like deep in there. Yes, thank you for that. One last question I want to talk a little bit. You mentioned that you do your healings at you are in Burbank and you do it at a Apu nearby you. I'm not, well, we're kind of far, but we're still in California. I'm in the Central Valley in Modesto area. So and I here because I love Yosemite. Those are my beautiful apus that I connect with, and I'll be there in a couple of weeks. And but do you want to tell us a little bit about your apu right there in your area, how you connect with it, or also I know from Peru. I mean, or what is the apu that you work with? And apus,
Okay,
explain what apus are too,
yes.
please.
Apus are this, how do we put this? Apus are the spirit of the mountain. Okay, yes, mountains have spirits. Yes. In the Andean tradition, you call Apu the spirit of a mountain. And some mountains are feminine, but most of them are masculine. And so everybody has an Apu that saw us being born. We carry the knowledge and the wisdom of that particular mountain spirit. Okay? So when I was doing, there's a work that you have to do to find out what your mountain was. So next to your place of birth, there must have been a mountain that is the one that oversees you. But there's also a mountain from the place that you would have probably moved to. So I was born in Mexico. When I was doing this kind of work, I had to go really deep and find out what my mountain was. The mountain here, where I do the work, is just an embracing Apu to me. The land is really, it's a park inside the mountain, and it's just beautiful. And you drive to it, to the place where I do the work. But my actual Apu, the one where I got initiated, where I received the seeds of of one of the levels of the medicine, it's Mount Baldy, Mount San Antonio. Okay. When I said, okay, I was born in Guadalajara, which one is my mountain? El Cerro de Tequila, the mountain from the Tequila Mountain, which is a volcano, or which one is it? That's far away from where I was born, but can that be it? And journeying the Andean way, I was told, and this I say with a lot of humbleness, the whole Sierra from from Canada to the tip of Tierra de Fuego, the whole continent, all that chain of mountains are who oversee me to do the work. That was what I was told.
Ooh, that
And
just gave me chills right now because, like I mentioned to you, I was in Guadalajara last week and I went to the town of Tequila and the dormant volcano and the Sierras, and they call Sierra Madre, mother, like the mother, the womb, and everything. And not only
yes,
they go that, those are the mountains that come through here by me, Yosemite, all the Sierras, all the way up.
so we're all connected. And that is just Anapu is the spirit of the mountain. And so the mountain where I work is about 4 to 5 blocks from my apartment. And I drive to it and then I park and I take all my stuff. I don't have to hike or anything. I conveniently found this place that I've been doing this work for um, 2010. And so that area is sacred. This is what we call it, the sanctuary. That's where I do my trainings, my classes, healing circles, ritual and ceremony, and where I see my clients out in nature. And so, but that is not my Apu. It's just a mountain that embraces, and that little embraces the medicine. And that little area is the we call it the sanctuary, and it has all this energy for years, and so it feels really good. And what is really good at that place is for hiking, and so people like to hike with their big dogs, little dogs. Every dog wants to sit there. When we are in circle or in workshops, everybody likes to sit on the grass. And so the dogs just come and find their place among the circle and just sit there. And they don't want to leave. That tells you the kind of energy that's there, right? So this is really funny because their owners have to carry these big dogs. Let's go, let's go. And they want to remain there. So that tells me, yeah, this is a sanctuary. If doggies like it, that's because
Yes,
they
definitely.
know energy.
Yeah, how beautiful the dogs know. It's happened to me too, like doing ceremony in Teotihuacan at the Pyramid of the Sun. The dogs are always part of it. They always show up. And I just want to share my Apu because everything that we talked about is so connected. So I was born in the Bay Area here in California in a town called Redwood City. So I'm deeply connected with the redwoods. That's my tree, that's my essence, all of it. But the mountain that is like highest on that area is of native land is called Umunhum, which means the place of the resting hummingbird. And didn't I tell you that before? Like the hummingbird being my spirit animal and everything. And just the connections just keep coming when you're open. And like I shared with you before our call, I just was in Mexico and I had an activation on my indigenous site that I looked at a site that I recognized from my mom's state and Sinsunsan, and I'm like, and I said it aloud, and the tour guide is like, "Do you know what that means?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "A place of hummingbirds." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, such an activation and confirmation, and just like, okay." And the hummingbird is on the Incan medicine wheel in the direction of the north is just a beautiful everything once you start and exploring and healing and unraveling all these things just like come to you and like
They
just oh my
fall
god.
in place and you don't have to make an effort. They just come to you. They recognize it. They recognize you as the wisdom keeper.
Yes, and that's what happened here with Rosalba and I brought us together a few years back, and here we are again, and sharing this beautiful medicine and our journeys. And I just want to thank you so much, Rosalba. We the audience is gonna love these, I know, and I really look forward to working with you and hearing what else you're doing when your website comes up. Yes, thank you so much, Rosalba. Any last words of like wisdom that you would like to share?
You know, one of the things that I'd like to tell people, because we have dreams. As little kids, we have dreams, and then we tend to life goes passes you by, and you lose sight of your dreams. And as I was a child, my dream was, to be doing something for humanity. And I wrote something here, so I'm going to read from it. And this is what I want to leave the program with. It says, allow me to remind you of this. Do not lose sight of your dreams. Breathe them, smell them, hear them, see them, taste them, even in the fog of fearful fights, for they eventually materialize. I know they do, for here I am. Keep the hope alive. So that's how I felt years ago, and I wrote it, and I'd like to end with that because how many of us go through despair thinking that, oh, why am I here? What's my purpose in life? And we know what our purpose is when we're very little. We just lose sight of it because we have society saying you have to go to college and have a degree and this and this and that. Yeah, that's wonderful. But that is not why you are here. If every one of us was born with a purpose and mission to do something for humankind, even if it was just to help ourselves, our individual selves. But most people have gifts, not only one, but many gifts to share with everybody. And you know about that when you're very little. You know, if you ask a 4-year-old, what do you want to be when you grow up? They'll tell you. You ask a 45-year-old and it's like, I don't know. I don't know which way I'm going. How many of us have been there? Many. So keep dreaming. Uh, make your dreams a reality. Like Alberto Villoldo, one of our teachers, says, dream the world into being. And so don't lose sight of your dreams because eventually they manifest. You have to go through the whole hero's journey, the whole wheel of life to get to where you need to be. So always pay attention to the markings, to the intuitive ideas or messages you're getting. They're always informing you of something. So keep dreaming. Make the world alive with your dreams.
Thank you, Rosalba. Thank you for your beautiful words, the magical, your wonderful wisdom that you share, and your medicine. You are
Thank
really
you.
embodying that. I appreciate you. And I hope everybody enjoys this wonderful conversation and reaches out to Rosalba or I if you feel called to, we can go deeper. Thank you so much for
Absolutely.
being here with us. And thank you, everyone. Until next time. Have
Thank
a
you,
good
everyone. Enjoy it. And until we see you again, have a wonderful life. And thank you very much, Teresa, for inviting me. I had a lot of fun.